Hello and welcome back to Robinsunne Art Studio. My name is Robinsunne. Please like and comment and subscribe and share this video if you enjoy this video, which I hope you do, and thank you very much. So I finished, finally. I sort of got taken up with some other projects, but here is, well, I think I called it the rock wall, as if these were each stones of embroidery. There's no real right side up. Yeah. So I finished this, and then I took it to my copier, and I forget this all the time, that the only way to make the colors actually print, especially blue, on my printer, is to make it print well at all, is to there's a special setting. I tell it that it's got fancy paper in it, and that makes the ink different, which to me is kind of what. But anyway, if I tell it it has fancy paper, it does the ink better. And I can put regular paper in, I can put fancy paper in, like it's not like it chokes and coughs on whatever kind of paper is in there. So, yes. So finally, I have my full page. Now, if I was making a journal, I would fold this in half. Oh, this, by the way, is, I printed it in all black and white and gray and stuff. I actually kind of like how some of these come out. Look at this one. You can see that, I hope I'm showing you these both. This is kind of a very pale turquoise inside of a darker royal blue. But in the gray, black and white, it comes out as pretty much black or an extremely dark gray with almost the palest of grays. So that's kind of fun. And this one I stitched just a back stitch, and it gives lines, that I can write on as a journaling card. I can write on. And this one is kind of fun. I was going to do all these stalks of feather stitches, and then I thought, oh, if I leave some empty space, I could write here too. So I like how this came out in black and white, but I also like how it came out in blue and white. So here is this card. Well, and the other thing I wanted to say is, if you have a copier, or if you don't have a copier, copy shops are pretty good. I have, in my part of Maine, there is a Staples. There's some other places for copying too, but there, and I don't think I have, well, if you have an art journal, and you have a little pocket, you could tuck this in. You can write on this. I just think that's really cool. Oh, and I wanted to show you this because it's also coming up next week. I fell in love with this. This right here, this pale blue, is a herringbone stitch, which I used in that red and yellow one, and the stitches were really big. These stitches are pretty tiny, and I did them really close together and very small in height stitches, and I just love how it looks like a little braid going around the edge here. So I learned that this little, see, are you getting this? Yes. This little mini blanket stitch came out really nicely. I like that. This is, what is it called? An attached fly stitch or something? I liked that. Oh, and I did this one, and I really liked, this is kind of a chain stitch, a lazy daisy petal. And instead of just having a little tuck stitch, right? Instead of a little tuck stitch right here, I made a longer stitch. This is called something in my book, my embroidery book by Lucinda Genderton. And do we have, yeah, I don't know where that is. A chained feather stitch is what she calls it. I'm noticing that she's got some different names on this, and that's because this is a chain stitch, the sort of lazy daisy part, chain stitch with this long stitch here rather than just a little short stitch, catch stitch. So, and then I did all the stitches. Am I there? Yes. In this dark royal blue, and then I put some very pale blue around the outside. I just made another stitch and slipped it under. My fingers are too big. Just slid it under this long stitch here. And then I did one or two stitches of the sort of aqua color in the middle. I just like how that came out a lot. And this double feather with a long stalk, I think is really pretty, really effective. This is a pistol stitch, and I haven't done a lot of these in my life. It seems a bit loose. And I like these little star stitches. Are you there? Yeah, so I now have a paper that I could, fold in half and just use as a pretty page in a journal. Or I can cut the cards out Oh, and I thought about doing this and I forgot. I could also, either with color printing, so that this is blue, or with the black and white printing, I was thinking I could use colored cardstock. I wonder if that would come out sort of greenish if I did it on yellow, or purplish if I did it on red. I don't know. And I meant to try that and give it to us to say I had done the experiment. You can print this on anything, on paper, just copier paper. This is cardstock. Oh, I wonder if you could, I'm sure you could, print it on tissue paper, or you could do it on photo paper too. Sometimes the backside of photo paper has this weird graininess to it. I don't like the backside, but sometimes some photo papers don't have that, and you can always just glue it on top of another piece of paper or cardstock. Yeah, so here's a little tiny card, and I could put this on, you know, a piece of blue paper. Like this, so that, and it of course depends on the color of embroidery floss you're using. And you could also cut out little squares of the, remember when I did the red one and it took up the whole page? You could just cut like a 3x4 or 2x3 piece of that copy on cardstock, and sorry, my eye is measuring. My right brain is fully engaged and telling my left brain to shut up. Sorry. To please get out of the picture so that this can happen. So there's a little card, and you could take like a silver pen or gold pen and write little words and tuck this in your pocket in your journal. So this is my thrilling offering for today. This was really fun to do. It was extremely challenging, not extremely, but sort of challenging, to think up new stitches for each one of these stones in my rock wall. But I'm really glad that I pushed myself. And I also found that only by being in the middle of the project did I think up some of these ideas, like this idea. That isn't in my book, and I just kind of made it up as I went along. I thought, oh, that looks kind of boring having just the blue, and I thought, well, what if I put a different color surround? So I used that pale blue, and I thought, ooh, what if I put something in the middle? Yeah, and I had to be sitting there with my needle in hand for all those questions to come up and for me to figure stuff out. And I had forgotten that I love making cards with lines on them, so you can journal on your journaling card, which is really felt. Anyway, this was very fun. I wish you, in all aspects of your life, in our lives, lots of exploration. So, you know, like, just show up and the ideas come out, like stuff we wouldn't have thought about. Yeah, I was listening to a woo-woo person on the internet today, and she was saying that too, and I've been thinking that for the past couple of days, that if I give myself time to just kind of go into a daydream place, then all these ideas start plowing in, and I say, well, that's a nice idea, but how would I do that? And then all these, sorry, I didn't mean to make that sound like a gun, but just like throwing darts at paint balloons, you know, just big splashes of ideas come when I just sit down and take everything out of my hands and stare at the trees or something. So I wish you time to stare at trees and let your daydreaming imagination have a good time. So I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.